Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's watch party of Earth Girls Are Easy. And I'm here with Dom and our special guest, Sharon, from our Discord community. Welcome, Sharon. Excited to have you in front of the laptop camera instead of in the chat
It's
today.
wonderful to be here.
Great. And yeah, so Earth Girls Are Easy. Now, some might think that this film was not easy to get through, but as a child of the 80s, this is a lot of fun. And I had not seen this film in a really, really long time. And so it was a fun trip back to the 80s, very 80s. I think it's the most 80s film we have seen in quite some time on our watch parties. So Sharon, yes. So tell us about how you came to be a part of our Discord community, and also kind of your initial thoughts about the film.
Well, I came into the community about a year and a half ago, perusing online for whatever it was I was looking for. I can't remember. And I came across the movie In Search of Darkness. It had already been released, but I found it online in mentioning, and I thought, how do I get a hold of this movie? And it had already been released, so I couldn't find it anywhere. Was looking everywhere for it, and I got a link to In Search of Tomorrow by the same company, Creator VC. And it was an advisor circle advertisement for In Search of Tomorrow. And I thought, well, this would be my chance to reach out and see if I can be a part of this. So I reached out, emailed Robin Block, and he emailed me back and said, yeah, we're for real. Come on board. In Search of Darkness has already been released, I think the year prior, but we're starting up In Search of Tomorrow. Come and be a part of the advisor circle. And the rest is history.
Wow. Yep. Very much similar my story as well.
It feels like so long ago. It feels like so long ago when we first started the advisor circle.
And so in the meantime, we've had In Search of Darkness 2, and now we're starting 3. And it's been a wild ride, and I plan on continuing it until you guys say no more. We're done.
We'll be in retirement homes, still kicking and screaming.
And the first time I saw this movie, it came out in '88, so I was already in college. So if I remember correctly, it was either in the movie theater or I saw it on video. I can't really remember. But I remember the first time I saw it thinking to myself, what the hell did I just watch? It was great fun, totally 80s.
Yes.
And to see this in the 80s was just the best experience. And I think I've seen it a couple times since it showed up on TV, or I think I might have rented it or seen it streaming at some point. But in preparation for today, I thought about watching it again to refresh myself with it. And then I thought, no, I think I'll watch it. It'll feel like the first time with the group. But yeah, I think the last time I remember seeing it was probably 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah, maybe 10 years. I'm getting old. I can't remember.
And Dom, how about you?
First time I was introduced to this movie, I think, was a few months ago when someone, it may have been David David Weiner, our director, asked for some assistance in sourcing some movie titles and poster art. And I came across this one and I was like, I've never heard of this movie before. So this is where I lose points in the group, because yes, I am a filthy 90s child. I wasn't there for the glorious decade, but I have, through osmosis, absorbed most of the culture, and I classify myself as an honorary 80s kid, thanks to my older brother and older sister who showed me all of their films as a kid. This one escaped me somehow. And when I did watch it to see what it's all about, because Jeff Goldblum being a sexy alien from space, Jim Carrey being a sexy alien from space, Damon Wayans being a sexy alien from space. How could I have not seen this movie?
Right?
So I watched it way back when, and I may have mentioned in the past I have diabetes, so I think I felt my leg hurt with the amount of sweetness this movie contains.
Amount of sugar.
It is, yeah, it's a time capsule of the 80s for sure.
For sure.
We'll take as many honorary 80s kids as we can. So, and certainly immersing ourselves in the movies of the decade is a great way of being a part of that decade, because to actually grow up in that decade, it's so hard to explain what it was really like. We can explain the big hair, we can explain the music of the decade, the movies of the decade, what we would do as kids, but to actually to live it and experience it was something very special.
Yes, yes.
And maybe I haven't really appreciated until I got to be a grown-up, and joining this group with you all, we get to talk about it, and I get to relive that part of my life. It's a special thing.
Exactly, exactly. And so with that said, let's start this experience of Earth Girls Are Easy. So the sync point is where it says a Kestrel Films production. Sparky John let me know that for those of you in the UK who have that copy, you don't have that on your copy. And so for you guys, right after that is going to come up a Julian Temple film. And that's where you guys can start your sync point in the UK if you don't have a Kestrel Films production. So we're going to do the countdown now as we step into our DeLorean. And we're going to head back to 87, 88 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, and a question early for you, Carla.
Yes.
From
So,
Sparky John.
yes, for
Apart
Sharon.
from Earth Girls Are Easy. Oh, it's for Sharon. It is for Sharon.
Yeah.
My apologies. I saw your name quoted. Sharon, apart from Earth Girls Are Easy, what is your favorite 80s sci-fi movie?
Empire Strikes Back, without a doubt.
That was quick.
That was no hesitation.
No hesitation. I remember the very first Star Wars movie. I saw it in the theaters. I was about 9 years old, but we're not counting 70s movies. So, oh yeah. Total Star Wars kid. I was hooked.
Nice.
So this guy behind me, Yoda, I don't know if you got a clear shot of him.
But,
yeah. He's part of the Phantom Menace giveaway that I had to get him. And I got him.
Nice.
Yeah, we're introducing ourselves to the aliens.
Yes, the 3 aliens. And what's interesting here is that if the language that they're speaking is the simplest thing I think any film could do. So like Lord of the Rings and Star Trek, like actually created a language. This film, we're just going to say English backwards. That's the language for the aliens. So
they spent all the money on the makeup.
Exactly.
I'm sure they didn't have time to come up with a language.
Exactly.
I love how low end everything feels. It feels like a Roger Corman movie.
Right.
It feels like it's from the 50s as well. It's also, speaking as a male, this is exactly what men do in their spare time when fantasizing about the fairer sex.
Now, the movie, the idea for the movie actually came from the song Earth Girls Are Easy from Julie Brown's 1984 EP Goddess in Progress. So that's where we got this magical film from. And so what are some other films that have that are based on or have titles of songs Can you guys think of any?
I'm drawing total blanks.
Does it have to? No, does it have to be sci-fi? Because I think they made a
No, oh
movie
no,
about
oh no. It could be, for example, Footloose.
Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper's song "Girls Just Want to Have Fun."
Girls just want to have fun. Yes, girls just want to have fun. Footloose. Sparky John said
Mhm.
Electric Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good one, Sparky John. I forgot about Electric Dreams.
Yep, Anzi's right.
Yeah.
They are furry.
Furries.
The initial shot just circling around Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Here we go. Hollywood.
Yes. Mad Matt says very Flash Gordon vibes happening. Yeah, you get that sense of just, we're not going to take ourselves too seriously. We're just going to have fun, and just put a lot of heart and soul into this movie. So definitely feeling that.
Yeah,
Well,
I think the opening scene, if anyone thought this is a serious sci-fi movie, it should have dissuaded their their doubts.
Exactly.
And I can appreciate the goofy movies that aren't trying to take themselves too seriously.
Yes.
It's when they try to take themselves too seriously that the audience usually can pick up on that. And yeah, then you've got problems.
This movie almost didn't get made because the studio was not happy with the director because his first film bombed or something, and they wanted Madonna or Molly Ringwald to play Gina Davis' character. And when that didn't happen, they were like, oh, we're going to pass. And then it finally got picked up by De Laurentiis Group, and they produced the film. And then our favorite Vestron Video distributed it. So thank you, Vestron.
Now, this was pre-Thelma and Louise, I believe, right?
Yes. Yep.
So I don't think she was this major star just yet. She was just starting out because she had done The Fly.
Well, interestingly enough, she had just won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in '89.
The Accidental Tourist, I believe.
Yeah, the Accidental Tourist. So she was up and coming,
That's right. She won the Oscar for one of her first performances, which was very good. I remember seeing that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Those pillows look so uncomfortable. I could already feel the fabric on my neck, the knitted fabric. No.
Yes, Sparky John shared with us that Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis were married during the production of this movie, but they actually met on the set of another movie. What movie did they meet on? And they were actually in 3 films together. This is their third.
Oh, I wanted, what is it? Transylvania 6500?
Yes. Yep. They met on Transylvania 65000, and they became a couple on The Fly. And they were a couple here, and then they got married, I think, right after this film. Sadly, marriage only lasted a couple of years. They got divorced, but I think they're still very fond of each other, though.
So she is wearing her wedding dress to bed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what woman doesn't do that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Very, very colorful LA in the 80s.
Oh yeah, it's nothing but pastel. Yeah, the house truck looked phenomenal. Taking a road trip in that little thing. Curl up and die. I want to go get my hair and nails done and curl up and die. That's a phenomenal name.
The hat that she is wearing, they actually do have hats like that. with little
And the-
curls coming out of it. They did back in the day. I don't know if they have them today.
Yes,
Yes.
the two genders. There's nail salon and workout zone.
In the gym, exactly. Exactly.
Look at all these angles in this gym.
Now, I haven't seen her in a very long time. Julie Brown.
Brown, yes.
Mhm.
She was a staple in the 80s,
Yes,
everywhere.
she was.
Very
Yes, she
colorful. Always just a happy personality. Not to be confused with Downtown
Downtown
Julie Brown,
Julie Brown,
who I
exactly.
also love from the 80s, who was on MTV and just everywhere with the celebrities.
Yes.
I love that they have a panic button. Just this big red button.
And I
Push in case of panic.
And Julie Brown, her shtick was, making fun of other celebrities through musical comedy.
Yep.
And so like one of her albums is Julie Brown Trapped in the Body of a White Girl. That was the name of one of her EPs.
Oh, she was fabulous. And again, it's one of those things that during the 80s, we would see her everywhere on TV. And now I don't know what she's doing now. Is she still around?
She's still around. She's done some guest spots on some TV shows, like in the early 2000s, on some comedy shows. But no, pretty much in the background. Sparky Johnson, she was in a big 1995 movie.
Julie Brown. I don't know, but I'm loving this fashion. These fashions here, totally 80s. And yes, we did used to dress like that in high school.
Oh, yes. Does anyone? That's right. I'll let the chat try to guess which 1995 movie she had a part in. That was
5.
I was going to say, there's people with different colored faces here. Are the aliens already here? And no, it's just face mask.
Gina Davis was gorgeous. She's still gorgeous, but she was gorgeous. And this is back when women could just look like normal women. There was no enhancements that hadn't gone crazy yet, This is pre-Kim Kardashian body type.
And yet look at the torture they're putting her through to change her look.
And who doesn't remember the glitter lotion all over your body?
Oh my gosh. I couldn't do the glitter. It's so hard to get off.
It was like glue.
I mean, whenever I touch glitter, I find it on me everywhere for the next 20 days.
I know. So Julie Brown was in Clueless.
Ah.
Yeah, she played, I believe it was a teacher.
It's the uncanny valley when you see them
that.
with different eye colors.
Yes, it really is.
So who here in the community has seen this movie before?
Yeah, who's a first timer?
Oh, Sparky John just had a picture of her in Clueless. That's right. She was the
Oh,
PE teacher.
that's so against type.
How to Drive a Man Crazy. Spanish fly lotion. Oh. If you have to call something a trap, um,
Lava lamp. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
I think, yeah, I think she put a little bit more than just a couple drops.
Yeah.
was that whipped cream she was using to put out the fire?
It was.
Yep. Yes, it was. I never knew whipped cream could be used like that to put out a fire. Good to know.
This movie may save your life.
Exactly. Now, the actor who plays Ted, his name is Charles Rocket.
What a name.
I know, right? And some of you might remember him when he played in a film with Jim Carrey in the 90s. Jim Carrey and what's the other guy's name? Can't remember his name.
He wasn't in Mask, was he?
No, it was with Jeff Daniels.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Yes, he was the villain in Dumb and Dumber. He doesn't recognize her.
Why does he have a comical, oversized stethoscope just in his house?
Busted. Not the sushi. Yes, Aaron, a waste of sushi.
Although raw fish does get consumed later on. Neighborhood Watch just comes with a gun to the window.
You know, I feel like fish tanks were huge back in the 80s.
Yeah,
And
right.
like home aquariums. I don't really see them now much, but I feel like that was a thing in the 80s.
I'm sure they're still around, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Like waterbeds. I knew a lot of people that had waterbeds back in the 80s. I just don't think they're popular now.
Because they're
No,
really uncomfortable.
super
Yeah.
uncomfortable. And just one little like earring, anything pricks it. And it's just, yeah. Did anyone in the chat have like fish aquarium tank growing up or even as an adult?
And if so, how would they take to a bottle of champagne?
Exactly. It did take me a minute to get used to her singing because that's not how I view her.
And is
Yes.
that really her voice? She's really singing?
Well, I think she is because on the soundtrack they said that they replaced her with someone else. So I think that is her voice.
So the
She's
movie
a bit of a
takes
chaos.
place- Oh,
Go on,
ahead.
sorry. And I was just going to call her a chaos gremlin. She's incredibly chaotic. Wherever she steps, chaos seems to follow.
Right.
In all of the flashback scenes, it does not look like they had the happiest relationship.
Was this actually filmed out in Hollywood? I mean, it takes place out there, but was it really filmed there?
I think it was.
Oh, Madonna. That's Madonna.
Oh, that's kind of shady. They threw Madonna's album in the fire. Oh, wow. Okay.
That was one of many of Madonna's incantation looks. She went through a lot of different album covers and looks.
Yes.
It's also impressive how rapidly and like surgically she destroys his property in perfect ways. Like the football just doesn't even think twice, doesn't go through any like step-by-step program. No, immediately microwave, pocket watch, the disposal, Madonna in the fire. This, what was it, a cigar box that went in the CD player?
Wow.
Like she's prepared this.
She's probably fantasized about this, thought about this.
She leaves one finger. Yeah, look, like what mind comes up with this? Bowling ball on the skis into the PC.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The aerobics commercial.
Yes, it's the 80s. It did work. It just worked in the wrong way.
Right.
That was the big fitness craze that started in the 80s.
Yes.
And I believe Jane Fonda was one of the first ones to not revolutionize it, but she basically brought it into the home with the VHS workouts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I know one of my favorite aerobics workouts is one of the Jane Fonda ones from the early 80s. I remember my cousins and I, we used to do it all the time. Those are hard. I tried to do one about a year ago. I was like, I'm going to try to do all these 80s workouts. They were hard.
Nothing makes you feel old like going back and trying an exercise from ages ago.
I thought I was in shape. I can do Zumba, I can do yoga. I could not finish a Jane Fonda 80s aerobics video. I could not do it.
She was in tip-top shape when she made those videos, so only she could do them. Oh yeah, look at that. Sparky John just posted it. Oh, there's no way. I would snap in half if I did that. Oh.
Such a nuanced language.
Yeah, their spaceship looked like it could fall apart at any time.
Yep.
So in the ship, is there gravity or is there not?
I know, because the way they're moving, right?
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
have those dials on their belts, don't they? That seems to eliminate gravity for them.
Well, it's giving me the whole like Star Trek, when there's like they like move, they like do the whole acting like the ship is shaking and they're throwing themselves around. That's what it's giving me.
Yeah, it definitely has vibes. Like I said, it feels like something cheaper in a good way.
Well, this was pre CGI.
Mhm.
Yes.
So what was the budget for this movie? I'm sure Carla knows it.
The budget for this movie was around 10 million. So
Oh,
they had,
wow.
yeah, they had a sizable
Hmm.
amount. It started out as 14 million and they shaved about 4 million off.
So no big deal. There's just a spaceship in my pool. No big deal.
Mhm.
Or a hair dryer. So I guess they were miniatures
Well, they're miniature when they're in
when
the ship, right?
in the ship, yeah.
Okay, so hypothetically, in your backyard, you have a pool, spaceship lands in there. Do you swim headfirst into it to convince yourself it's not real?
See, I'm not even getting in the pool. So that's what you got me. Like I'm not even getting in there. So
Fungus. I do like how rapidly she just accepts that she's been abducted by aliens as well.
well, in the 80s, that was the thing. Like every week on the National Enquirer, it was like, I'm pregnant by an alien, I'm having an
Mhm.
alien's child, I got abducted by aliens. So um it wouldn't have been uncommon for her just to be like, okay, all right,
This is happening.
this is happening.
Just the very quick change from in so much denial that something physical, nah, can't be real, to, yep, I've been abducted by aliens.
I am impressed by the makeup.
They're very good suits.
Very,
Mhm.
very, very good job.
Yes. Right, because the suits were furry, but the makeup was done to make it look like their face had fur on it, even though it didn't. So, no, very well done on the makeup. Those suits must have been hell, though, to be in.
Well, they get in the water with them, don't they? So just picture that.
Anzi from the chat said, rumor has it that Gina Davis was under contract to spend a third of the movie runtime in a pink bikini. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
But it's okay. We all get our sexy shirtless Jeff Goldblum later as well. So
Right, right.
it all balances out.
Well, she doesn't seem the least bit awkward walking around in a bikini in a spaceship with aliens.
Right. Isn't it amazing how much Jeff Goldblum comes through in anything he has on? Like, it's Jeff Goldblum. He's
Mhm.
doing the Jeff Goldblum, no matter what he has on him.
It's a state of mind.
I was thinking the same thing about Jim Carrey, even under the makeup.
Incredibly expressive.
He is.
Yes. And Ansi says here that, this is in preparation for the Grinch because he had to put on another furry costume for the Grinch.
Oh, the Grinch. Poor Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah. But we won't be doing a watch party on that because it's not 80s. So
Exactly.
No.
Everyone has that nosy neighbor. Oh, the watermelon parasail.
Wookiees.
Who needs that many wind chimes?
Those were also popular too in the 80s.
They're popular now. I hear them all the
Still
time.
popular? Really?
Yeah.
I did not see them as much.
Quick, how many 80s stereotypes can you see in this house?
Right?
he's going to eat the cat.
Oh, yes, their sensual touch.
Oh, yes, the love touch.
It could be a drinking game, though it would be a lethal one. Every
Yes.
time you see something stereotypically 80s, you take a drink or take a shot.
Right. Okay, no actual animals were harmed in the making of this movie. So,
You mean they
okay.
didn't pull the perfect skeleton out of their
Right.
mouths?
That could have been part of their contract.
Devour the fish whole.
Pop-Tarts are the worst foods. I don't understand why they're still on the shelves. I think we should file like a class action lawsuit. There's like nothing in them. They're not nutritious. There's hardly any gel or jam in them. It tastes like cardboard.
Then again, spray cheese isn't too far from that list either.
Right?
Yeah, that Lazy Susan refrigerator accessory is something that I desperately need as well.
This reminds me of the Bill and Ted scene where they all came back to his house and he had them all doing his chores.
Mm.
Oh,
and I think it was Napoleon who was cleaning the bathroom. No. It might have been Abraham Lincoln that was trying to clean the toilet. Someone out there would probably know, but he had all those historical figures coming back to his house.
Uh-huh.
He had to clean his house.
So Sparky John just threw down the gauntlet in the chat saying, okay, the greatest Jeff Goldblum movie of the 80s was Buckaroo Banzai. So let's ask the chat, what is your favorite or you think the best 80s Jeff Goldblum film? You have Buckaroo, you have what, The Fly. The Fly. The Fly.
I'm biased, and I'm going to say The Fly. However, I also absolutely adore Buckaroo Banzai. My truck outside has a Banzai Institute sticker on the back, so
Nice.
I'm officially a part of it.
Cowbot says this one. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I would go with The Fly as well. I think as an actor and his character in The Fly showed a lot of depth and tragedy and humanity.
Mm-hmm.
I do love here how they're just absorbing sound effects, which gets used later on when they just regurgitate all of these sound effects to confuse the Dr. Liv.
Okay, but if you had to choose between Jeff Goldblum in The Fly and Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park.
Ooh, ooh.
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the sexiest shirtless scene? Hmm. No,
Yeah,
both
he
are
was, he
iconic.
was he was good in Jurassic Park. I mean, his roles in his entire career, I'd put that as one of the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot Michael McKean was in this movie.
Yes.
He is in everything.
Right. From Laverne and Shirley to This Is Spinal Tap.
Oh,
No, he was
poor
supposed to
kid.
play the role of Ted. And the actor who played Ted was supposed to play the role of Woody. And then they switched. They were like, no. And then they switched them, which I think is perfect. I think how they ended up is perfect for this film. Although Woody Harrelson probably could have also played this role too as Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a total 80s California dude.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself falling back into that pattern of saying, dude, right on, man. Hey, dude, without missing a beat.
Mad Matt is a man after my own heart. He says another alien named Mac is Mac from Mac and Me.
Not Mac and Me. Oh yeah, he's learning the piano, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, just absorbing information to regurgitate later.
I guess it was the late 80s, so they would have all those those channels on the TV. It's
I mean,
like
he was a
wide,
doctor.
wide range. That's true.
Yeah, late 80s cable. Satellite TV was sort of a thing, but definitely cable TV.
Yeah. Aaron said the rich kids did Carla. Yeah.
Look at his pitiful apology flowers. Just a single bundle.
Sparky John asked, does my mom like this film? Well, she was like, what do you have me watching? She loves Chef Goldblum, and she thought it was very cute. I don't think she'll watch it again, but she thought it was very cute film. But she was just like, what is this? I think she
Just
was much
realized-
more accepting after the aliens became more human. Then it was like, okay,
Well, eventually they do get a haircut
right.
or a shave, whatever, all over shave.
They get the Brazilian wax 3000.
Don't.
How'd she get them all the way here with no one casting? Oh, it's LA, I suppose.
True. In the 80s, they're neon colors. They just kind of blend in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got to tell you, people really did dress like that in the 80s.
Yes, I love Gina Davis' jacket. Like
Yep.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife has a jacket similar to that now.
I still have some buttons that I got from the 80s.
Mhm. Rocking the
Yeah, and the pastel
flare.
colors, everything just
Mhm.
seems edible.
Who in the chat collects buttons and patches
And pins, like
and pins?
the In Search
Yeah.
of Darkness pins.
Yes.
I used to have them for all my favorite rock bands of the 80s. Duran Duran. I think I still have a couple Duran Duran.
Uh-huh.
And of course, the In Search of Darkness ones.
Yes.
Can't go wrong.
I don't know. They're aliens.
I probably would be just a little bit more freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee if you put a sinister soundtrack on this, it could pass as a horror movie.
And you need a couple FBI guys coming after him.
Yes. Men in Black.
Yep.
That'll be the challenge. Re-edit this movie as a horror film.
Make it a bit darker.
Speaking of Lost in Space, doesn't Robbie the Robot appear in this?
Yes. Yes, he did. I believe
Yeah,
it's
later on?
the dream sequence, right?
Yeah, when everything turns into a 50s dramedy. Oh, snap. There you go. Mad Matt's here with Robbie.
Yep.
Jim Carrey still kind of looks like that.
I know.
Like
The
he has
eyes.
never aged.
He is a vampire. What are these mirror placements?
So she had him in tanning booths, like a tanning bed.
Clearly, he didn't need to be tanned. I love the outfits. This time there were no flies. No flies.
So he must have been contracted to not have his shirt on because he is the only one of
Right.
the aliens with no shirt on.
Right.
Or it was just his choice. And no one said no.
Yep.
That was always the case, wasn't it? Whenever anyone would say, now say, and then insert any phrase, now say pineapple chunks, you'd be like, what? And then the picture would get taken while you had this confused look on your face. I love that they clearly don't know what they're doing with their clothes, and yet it still comes across as perfectly suitable for the 80s attire.
Mm-hmm.
Like multiple shirts on top of each other. It works.
Yes, the layered look.
Well, we could analyze that a little bit further. And we could suppose that in space, they got a lot more of our transmissions than we saw at the beginning of the movie. And so they've already absorbed the culture of the 80s. So you
Okay.
could suppose that.
Yeah.
I like how she's still obsessed with Ted. Aliens have literally crash landed in her backyard.
And they look like Jeff Goldblum. And you're
A
still
shirtless,
obsessed.
sexy Jeff Goldblum. And
Yes.
she's like, oh, this whole Ted situation. You deserve better. Move on. You're a klutz, but you deserve better.
Decca Dance Club.
Is that Griffith Observatory?
That's no. I really don't think they would let them film there.
You sure?
Yeah, where was this? This can't be a real dance club.
Oh, no, 100% no. But it looks
No.
Griffith-y. I'm going to believe it is. But you're probably right, Carla. They probably wouldn't. Then again, in the 80s, they might let them film. She made earrings out of cutting up her dad's credit cards. Yes, if someone can confirm that this is what an 80s nightclub looked like, I'll be very happy.
I can attest to late 80s, early 90s. I was too young. Early 80s.
The Decadence was filmed at Griffith Observatory.
There was. Oh, wow.
Thank you, Mad Matt. Yeah, and Sparky John.
Yep. Now, do you recognize where the blonde actress is from? The one with the long hair?
Darn. Onzi says they were darker and louder than this. Also, the typical bar concession stand in my time was usually reserved for the bathroom. The concession stand of smelly products and lovely products.
So, Carly,
Blondie looks familiar.
the
I don't know where from
blonde,
though.
the
Yeah.
blonde with the long hair.
Yes, who's dancing with Whiplock?
She looked familiar.
She was in another 80s. It's going to be a horror, kind of a preteen kids horror film that we all love.
I want to say Friday the 13th.
Well, okay. We learned that Wolfman has nards.
I was going to say it's either going to be Monster Squad or Lost Boys. I need to see a close up of her again, but I take it it's Monster Squad.
She was the older sister. I thought you said you were a virgin. Well, I was with so-and-so, but it doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Good one. I would not have placed her.
Please, Jeff. I'm a married man. You can't do this to me.
The purple jacket is giving me either Prince or Liberace.
Bit of both.
Vibes.
Bit of column A, bit of column B.
That ought to snap her out of her thinking about her ex-boyfriend.
You'd hope.
He looks pretty sexy in that jacket, I must say.
Up to this point, I would question why he is the captain amongst this ragtag group of complete alien children. But that point there where he shows that he has, like, he's concerned for Valerie. Of course he's the captain. He's the only one with two brain cells to rub against each other.
Right.
The other two are just reacting to the world around them. Very well, mind you.
Right.
And this scene proves, oh.
Now, Dom, this was the thing. Like in the 80s, in the 90s, like these dance-off at these dance clubs were a thing. Like my older brother used to dance with MC Hammer before he became MC Hammer in the clubs in Oakland in California. Not dance with him, but like kind of dance off, have like a dance off and stuff. And so that's how Hammer really got into the game, through his dancing at these clubs, because he was always a dancer first. So this is like a thing in the 80s.
Are you telling me these dance-offs don't happen nowadays? I thought they do. I look really stupid in clubs when I go and just dance at people. Darn, I didn't realize I looked so silly.
And you were dancing, having a dance off by yourself.
Right.
Pretty much. I always won. I was so good, I got asked to leave.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I haven't been to a club and did that in so long. Do they still have dance-offs?
No. Now they just have grind-offs and twerk-offs.
Oh.
But no dance-offs.
Oh, of course.
The Colt 45 malt liquor works every time.
Oh.
Now this is the 80s, a club scene. What's missing? What is missing? And it's missing because this film is PG.
Cocaine.
Exactly. You typically find that in that club scene. But we got to keep it PG.
Oh. Awesome. I miss dance-offs. Especially dance-offs that are coordinated like this.
Now I was surprised at how long this dance sequence was. Like they really committed. And I tried to see who was the guy that he was dancing in, but was he like a a real dancer, like someone kind of big or important from that time. And I couldn't find anything. He was just another, it's just an actor. Sparky John said, "Oh boy, this is just so cheesy." Well, that's what the 80s.
Welcome to the 80s.
Welcome to the 80s.
So I recently watched, and by recently I mean last night, watched the movie from 2019 or 2018, Climax. Very different film, but it involves dancing, and my mind keeps going back to that movie, and I'm a little scared.
What was the name of it from 2019?
Climax. It is an acquired taste.
Okay, haven't heard of it.
Me neither.
It's the closest to a drug trip that you can get in the film. Oh, he just grabs his cheek and drags him off.
And that motion with the tongue could still get them the PG rating.
Right?
Gotta love it. Just, it makes me laugh. That's hysterical.
Ah, yes. Climax by Gaspar Noé. Indeed. Sparky John and Phonic are aware.
Now his jacket looks blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Blue
a mood
sparkles.
jacket. I'd recognize that yodeling anywhere.
You know, at one point, the producers were thinking about casting John Travolta as Mac and Olivia Newton-John as Valerie.
Oh no.
Oh, I know,
Oh,
right?
no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Because they were like, maybe we can recapture the success of Grease, you know?
Mm.
No. They passed on that
Thank-
because their movie Two of a Kind bombed. So they were like, no.
Yeah, thank God they went in a different direction.
Yeah.
Anzi is telling us that I believe the jacket was a movie mistake.
Oh.
Rule 1 about breaking up with someone who shares the same key as you: change the locks. Here's a call for. Wait, are his fish called Beamer, Aston, and Martin?
Yes. Yes.
So he names his fish after cars?
Yes. Because that's what wealthy doctors from the 80s do.
Naturally. Of course.
They'd probably still do it today, especially guys from LA and
Mm.
Hollywood.
Beamer, Mercedes, Aston, and Martin. Oh, there's a Mercedes in there as well. Act human. Shaving with the monkey. Oh, that's great.
I love how it was totally believable that she would win a band for the weekend from MTV because they were always doing those giveaways.
Oh,
Do you remember the
that.
one The one they did with like the house or something. They were going to give away like a pink house. John Mellencamp was involved.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. And anybody who was there for MTV's heyday would remember all the VJs and all the contests and the actual rock music videos they would play. And they would bring in the rock
MTV
stars.
played music? What?
They did.
Yes, they did.
Who else remembers the very first broadcast when MTV first went on the air? I remember it going live.
Really? Oh.
And I could probably name all the VJs if I thought really hard. But I'm getting distracted by his tongue right now. So it's weird.
You know, I read a book it was a book written by the VJs of the heyday of MTV. They wrote a book. It was like a autobio. I would highly recommend it. It was so good.
Martha Quinn, JJ Jackson, Nina Blackwood, Mark Goodman. That's him, Mark Goodman. Thank you, Sparky. Oh boy. Takes me back.
Yes.
And now what does MTV play? Do they play music at all?
I think it's reality TV mostly.
They play ridiculousness, like 24/7 ridiculousness.
Okay.
Does this count for our drinking game? Jim Carrey doing Jane Fonda in the living room. Oh, he's literally listening to a CD.
He probably hears it too.
Yeah, you can hear the music coming out of it as he just presses it to his ear.
And who here remembers the CDs?
Oh
That's totally 80s when they went from the cassettes to the CDs.
Yeah, I remember when my cassette player burnt out and I got a CD player which skipped every 2 seconds because walking with that thing was impossible. It always skip. You have to walk with such a steady, like, hand holding on a pedestal so it doesn't get knocked.
But with cassettes, you know, remember when like you would have to, the tape would come out, so you would have to like
to rewind
roll it back, you know.
Pencils are very useful.
You have to flip it over to get the other side of the cassette.
Yeah, side B.
Yes, side B.
And then when they went from cassettes to CDs, you had to buy a whole new set of all your music.
Yes. I held on to my cassette tapes until like 2000s. And then I had to let them go.
And just like VHS, anybody lucky enough to still have a VHS player,
right?
It's kind of a historic moment. But the VHS tapes themselves, I don't know very many of them that would last, that you'd be able to play without them breaking. I mean, they only had a shelf life of 20 years.
My Hellraiser VHS tape still holds up. It looks terrible. I'm not sure if that's age or my memory and, you know, comparing it to crystal clear Blu-ray qualities.
So this is a cute little scene between Valerie and Mac.
Teach me this earth thing called love.
Yes, but the title of the movie is Earth Girls Are Easy. So she's probably easy.
I love how she's like, I'm from the Valley. Not that I'm from LA or California. I'm from the Valley.
You're from out of town.
The phone bills are...
Does anybody from the 80s generation remember Valley Girls?
Yes.
And everybody used to talk like them, for sure. Totally.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It
It's
wasn't
still a
as
phenomenon
much
today.
We
Right. It
talk
wasn't
like
as
that on
much
purpose.
in Northern California. I'm from Northern California. It wasn't, it
Hmm.
didn't hit as hard, I don't think, as Southern Cal, but we did have the Valley Girls speak as well, but not as much, I don't think, in Northern California.
Okay. I went to school out in Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
and we would always talk like that just because it was the craze.
Yes.
Everybody talked like that.
Yeah, my wife is from LA. She occasionally slips into Valley Girl and she's like, oh, my Valley Girl is showing. I'm like, yeah, that's what it
Now,
was.
this is PG, but I just caught a glimpse of Gina Davis.
Oh, side boob?
More, yeah, more than
Little
side
bit.
boob and nipple.
Oh,
So I'm like,
no.
PG, okay. Okay, movie censors. I guess MPAA didn't watch this film closely.
Why did she have so many cactuses in her house? Cacti, sorry. But there was
Yes,
one by the
now-
TV as well.
So supposedly in this dream sequence, there is one of the aliens from Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai in this dream
Oh,
sequence,
snap.
along with everyone
eye
else.
peeled.
Yeah, the Lectroids.
I'm trying to visualize electoid. And I can't. Quick, someone in chat, grab a screenshot, show me. I wonder if that was an attempt to throw back to the werewolf Chewbacca. There's Robbie. Look at him go. Mixing drinks. I told you not to have fun. Oh, thank you. Okay, keeping an eye out.
That's right. I
Oh,
remember the National
Gilman.
Enquirer would have alien
Mhm.
headlines every week.
Every
There he is, Robbie the robot.
There he is again.
And didn't she had a dream sequence or nightmare in The Fly as well
She did.
about the labor and birth. Which one is worse, crazier, scarier to you? This dream sequence or the Fly dream sequence?
Well, as a woman, I could tell you right now, giving birth to a fly, that's scary and just so out there.
Yeah.
I like how they're just showing different fish. And it's like, oh God, they're aliens.
You know, for a
Right.
cheesy movie, that was kind of a horrifying dream sequence.
It really was.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is she gonna have this dream every time after they have sex? Is she gonna have like a, a dream sequence like that? Because that's, is that the effect of the love touch?
See him there. I was saying it's nothing like climax. Maybe a little bit.
You know, so at first she was afraid of having the fly baby. Now she doesn't
Mhm.
want to have an alien baby.
Yes. And for
Not
all
a
the
great
young,
way of
for
doing it.
all right, for all the young women out there who are watching this, that's not how birth control works.
No.
And she just took how many? 4?
Right.
Yeah. She's going to be incredibly sick.
Not that I'm a doctor or anything, but I think you're supposed to take 1 a day.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not Tic Tacs. That's Mad Matt in the chat said they're not Tic Tacs.
I like the idea that he's a truck driver.
So
Quite the
did
artist.
did I miss the part in the beginning? Why are there no government agencies? Was this not seen in any radar so the spaceship could just land in the pool and not set off alarms?
It's LA.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a
not just
movie.
LA,
Let's
it's the
just
valley.
enjoy it.
It's the
Oh yeah, it's the valley.
So maybe the valley gets this all the time, just weird things on radar all the time. It's no big deal.
Now, Jeff, if you could do the scene again, but maybe put a shirt on, or no? Okay, no, just leave it off.
I vote leave it off.
Yeah.
So I have some trivia for you. What other comedy musical hit theaters in 1988, but had a much better reception with audiences and critics? It wasn't sci-fi.
Little Shop of Horrors? Was that 88?
No.
I don't know.
Does anyone know off the top of your head? Because
yeah, does anyone in the chat
Cool.
know? Anyone in the chat know? The hint was it starred, or she had a co-starring role, Debbie Harry. Nope, not Xandu.
Oh, Xanadu. Oh
Xanadu.
my gosh, that took me back.
Oh. Okay, another person.
That's what I was thinking. Videodrome.
No, it starred Debbie Harry, Divine, and Ricky Lake.
Oh, Hairspray.
Hairspray. Yep.
That's it.
By John Waters.
Yep.
That's right. Divine had the lead role. That's
Mhm.
right.
Mad Matt said Crybaby came out in 1990, and that was another John Waters, and that was also another. It had Johnny Depp was in Crybaby.
Oh.
Yeah.
And speaking of Xanadu, who else besides me can admit to seeing that in the theater?
Oh, I'm the bow out of that one.
Not even throwing my hat in that ring.
And if I was to take a guess, I was probably, oh gosh, Xanadu, probably 82. It was before I was in high school, I think 81 or 82.
Oh, Sparky John said me.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Not the only one.
Oh, The Wiz.
He's on Down the Road.
Yes,
The
Wiz.
Wiz. That was a good one.
But that was 70s, right?
No, The Wiz is 80s.
It was 80s, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Michael Jackson.
A
Diana
young Michael
Ross.
Jackson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They get Michael Jackson and they like stick him on, was it a crucifix for like the first half of his song? One of the best dancers of the time, and they don't let him dance.
Right? Because he played the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
And that was before his breakout album, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Diana Ross was in that.
Yep.
I am taking a trip down memory lane today.
Is it a pair of lips, that phone?
At first I thought it was a shoe, but there's no
Or
heel.
a shoe, yeah.
But I don't see a heel. It must be a pair of lips, but
Who remembers like those comedy phones that were always in someone's house that looked like, I don't know, a Garfield or a set of lips?
That reminds me of the Dumb and Dumber scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Blonde of the Month competition. Oh, the burger phone, yeah.
This scene was added after they had filmed because they had cut so many scenes that they needed something. And so this is popular off of her album, the song.
Mm.
And so they shot this video and then just put it in the movie.
That's why none of the principal cast make much of an appearance.
Right. I love she spells it Blond.
Didn't she have a couple hits in the 80s?
She did.
And
Yeah.
they weren't necessarily parodies because she was a quite talented singer.
Mm-hmm.
The heartbreak of not being blonde.
Beach blanket bingo.
So anybody out in the LA Hollywood area, do you have to be blonde to have more fun?
I feel like I had more fun when I was blonde.
For this song for me, just say this is the film. This sequence here is just awesome.
Just go with it. It's so fun.
It is so fun.
Totally rad.
Hecka Rat. Oh my gosh. Hecka. That was such a Northern California thing. Hecka and Hella.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, the car from Death Race.
Opie.
Leave home, kid.
This is so Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
He's really great with props. Always has been.
Yeah, as Sparky John put in the chat earlier that he and Damon Wayans were in Living Color.
Mm-hmm.
What were your favorite characters that they created or most memorable from the Living Color?
And I can remember Jim Carrey as the fireman.
Fire Marshal.
Fire Marshal.
Bill.
Fire Marshal
Yes.
Bob. Was it?
Bill or Bob?
Bill.
I think. Yeah, Fire Marshal.
Fire
Bill,
Marshal.
Yes.
And I'm sure someone's going to post a picture of him as the fire marshal.
Bet.
Yes.
There
yes.
it
is.
And Homie the Clown.
The homie don't
Homie
play
the
that.
Clown.
Homie don't play that. Now, who is this? Iconic model actress, Angeline. This is her brief cameo. The director declared her the patron saint of Los Angeles. But what is she known for? What made her famous besides her
Boobs.
pink Corvette?
I like how the truck falters, but the Corvette is pristine.
Oh, Mad Matt said he lived in the 80s in the Valley and have zero recollection of Angeline.
I seem to remember mention of her, but
Yeah.
it's not ringing any bells.
So she came to prominence in around 84 because she raised funds to just put billboards of herself up all around LA with her phone number. So here are a couple of the billboards. But yeah, that was she was known for that.
Did it pay off? Did she get a bunch of creepy people calling?
Like she that was her shtick. And so she did music and albums and modeled based off of that, her Corvette, and these billboards.
A Kardashian before the Kardashians.
Right? A Paris
According to
Hilton
Calbot.
before Paris Hilton.
But I seem to recall she was always in the pink car.
Yes. Yep. Pink Corvette. Almost like Barbie.
Yeah.
The Barbie look.
But no, I can't say as if she's stayed in my brain for the last couple decades.
But you know, she still has that Corvette. She still has billboards up in LA, and she's still making appearances to this day.
Huh.
It's about average for LA traffic, is it not? For someone to just careen through a billboard and drive backwards on the highway?
Well, you wouldn't have that much space on the highway to do anything.
That's true, yeah.
Bumper to bumper.
Yeah, you're right. Totally unrealistic. Taken out of the movie now. Actually being able to travel more than 3 miles an hour for any stretch of time.
And you might have a few more cars trying to dodge their way out of your way.
Right.
Is that wood paneling on the vehicle?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
I was going to say, yeah, we passed the other car from Death Race. How? Challenge accepted.
Calbot says, yes, Sharon, Woody drives a Woody.
Oh, yes, all hail the donut. The plan that goes horribly wrong in the right way.
Right?
plan failed successfully.
Well, it worked. The plan worked, sort of.
Yeah, distracted
Yeah, whatever
them.
works.
Exactly.
I don't quite how making the cops find their true love got them to the hospital, but hey, love works in mysterious ways.
See, love is a distraction. So
So
Oh wait, they got in the back.
They got in the back seat and let their prisoners drive the car.
not that much of a distraction.
Let's go shake somebody down.
Our Lady of the Valley Hospital.
Mm-hmm. Does it hurt when I squeeze your head violently? It's the funniest thing, isn't it, when someone asks you to breathe. Now trying to think, how do you breathe?
Right?
And realize that you forget how to breathe and have existential crises. Means doing something terrible to a good person. Let's do it. Maybe Valerie's the villain of this. When you have to go to the guy in full plaster for
Yes.
help.
Yes, yes. Nothing good is going to happen.
And he betrays you.
Uh-uh.
It was just so silly. It works. That scene
Yes.
just worked. It was so silly.
It was, yes. You know, I didn't realize until this film how good of a comedic actress Gina Davis is. And she's more almost like a straight woman in a sense, you know, where others are kind of being funny around her and she's reacting, but she also has some comedic chops, I think, too, in this film.
It's weird. She plays the straight woman. You're right. Yet she is the cause of most of the chaos. The aliens there are kind of just observers, which is very out of character for the straight character, the straight edge character who's more or less along for the ride normally. In this case, it's totally flipped. And yeah, here's where they all make him question his sanity.
Right.
Also, I've been in many operating theatres working for the healthcare service in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
It would be bliss having a operating theatre to yourself.
Yeah, and I think we can all suspend our knowledge of what a operating theater would really look like, and that would be nothing like it.
Right. Sparky John reminded us that she also showed her comedic chops in Beetlejuice as well. I think that came out in '89.
Ugh, the Pet
I think
Boys.
a year after this.
Actually, I think Beetlejuice was.
Or was that
before
80?
this,
Or was that
wasn't it?
87? Beetlejuice was that 87 or 86?
$1988, so it came
88.
out
There
just
you go.
about the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, Sparky John says Beetlejuice was 89.
Oh, 89.
Boy, she had an incredible run in the 80s. The Fly, this, Beetlejuice.
Nope, 88. How are you considering it?
Oh,
How?
Well, you know, this is her identity. Her identity is that she's a manicurist and she's his fiance, soon to be wife. That's all she knows. And she's a girl from the valley. So but that still doesn't make sense.
and we haven't gotten to the ending yet.
Right.
Oh, yes, no.
So she is just a gal who wants to get married.
Mhm. Okay, so what did he just put in his suitcase? Were those bear claw slippers?
Oh, it's coming to my neck of the woods. Do they have any normal phones in the house?
Well, the 80s was a very big time for the novelty phones
The novelty, anything.
and Mickey Mouse phones.
Everything.
I've known people with Mickey Mouse phones.
Yes, I had a Mickey Mouse phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this would have done great as a musical on Broadway or off Broadway.
Yeah.
And they almost made it. They almost did. In 2002, they did a stage reading of the musical
2002.
play. And they had Julie Brown and Kristen Chenoweth before she became Kristen Chenoweth. And yeah, they did it. And I'll put the link. There's like a YouTube playlist of it so you can see it. It has some songs from the film, but a lot of just pop songs from the 80s. And Whiplock and Zebo, their characters are not in it.
What?
It's just Mac.
And they call it no, it wouldn't be a remake.
But they couldn't secure funding to like make it a full play. 9/11 had just happened and everything. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But I think they should do the musical. I mean, if we can have a Last Starfighter musical, I think we can have an Earth Girl So Easy musical.
Exactly. Sad times. Very useful power, though.
Don't we all know women that would choose poorly in this situation? We've either
Mhm.
done that or we know women who would do that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably some guys out there that would choose poorly. Speaking of Mr. Right, there's another novelty movie, Making Mr. Right. I don't know if we've talked about this with John Malkovich. I think we mentioned it in the community. Making Mr. Right was in 1987 or 89, I believe, with John Malkovich. And that was a sci-fi novelty movie. If anybody hasn't seen it, see if you can find it and watch it for novelty's sake, just like this movie.
I was saying before we started the watch party that this to me feels like a movie that is taking place in another movie. Like it's the kind of plot line for a movie that's being made in a film. It just sounds so... It's hard to explain. It's the kind of film that you can imagine being made, but not really.
Right.
So if they were making it in a movie, you'd be like, yeah, I can see that to be made. Or you'd say, why didn't they make that film? That sounds like such a good movie.
Right.
It's like a parody of itself.
Yeah.
Now, this movie did make quite an impact, though, because there's a video. This movie inspired a video by Britney Spears and rapper Iggy Azalea for the 2015 song Pretty Girls.
Dang. There you go. So it did influence quite a few things.
People have love for this film.
And there's our nosy neighbor. And don't we all have them?
Yes. Do you guys think this movie and My Stepmother is an Alien go hand in hand as a double bill movie? Fonzie asked.
Oh, okay. Yes. Who else has seen My Stepmother is an Alien in the theater besides me?
No, that one for me was video. I didn't catch that in the theater.
Oh,
but I watched it a lot on video.
Yep. And you know what, Anzi? Yes, double feature.
Yes. Perfect. That would be a perfect double feature. I'm going to see if it's on Amazon Prime. I actually might watch that after this.
And My Stepmother is an Alien is not one of my guilty pleasures. It has its place, though. If you haven't seen it, see it once and enjoy it for what it is. It has a lot of big name stars in it.
Yes, Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Basinger.
Kim Basinger.
And a young
Allison
Hannigan.
Hannigan, yes.
And Seth Green. Yep. Willow and Oz before they became Willow and Oz.
Very good. But let's not do that as a watch party.
Right. Okay. Duly noted. So what did you guys think of Earth Girls Are Easy? So if it was your first time watching in the chat, what do you think? If you've seen it? Oh, Sparky John says, so I have survived. He is a survivor of Earth Girls Are Easy again.
We'll get t-shirts with that.
Exactly. Sparky John, you should make a t-shirt. I survived the Earth Girls Are Easy watch party. 2021.
And for anybody who joined the watch party a couple weeks ago, I still say E.T. is a dick would make a great t-shirt.
Anzi said this was a lot of fun and a slice of 80s nostalgia. So Dom and Sharon, what did you guys think? What are your kind of final thoughts on Earth Girls Are Easy?
Fantastic time. More for the community. I
enjoyed myself.
Yeah, than the movie itself. The movie was just dumb fun, which we've grown to appreciate.
Definitely. And I think the music really does. The soundtrack is totally rad and awesome for this film.
Definitely. This is the type of movie you can go with your friends or your romantic interests to the cinema bucket of
Mhm.
popcorn, not pay too much attention, just sit back and enjoy yourself. When you leave, will you remember much of it? Probably not,
No,
but it's a good time. You remember
Yes.
the good times you had.
Yes.
I'd watch it again with you guys in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, so that was Earth Girls Are Easy with Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum. And I think that was their last collaboration together after working on Transylvania 65000 and The Fly. I think that was their last go around. Probably have something to do with the fact that, they got divorced.
Tends to put a cramp in your relationship, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tends to pretty much like in that relationship. But we definitely did enjoy them. I think they have great chemistry together on screen for sure.
Was this about the time that Gina Davis actually became an Olympian and she spent years and years training? Or was that the 90s?
I believe that was the 90s where
Okay.
she like placed like 94. She was like 94 out of 200 for the Olympics. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. And I think she
Yeah.
took a couple years off to train. So she
from acting.
wasn't in she wasn't in acting for a while.
Right.
Okay.
And-
it was the 90s.
Yeah. And now she is she started a foundation, I believe, looking at film, women and girls in film. Yeah, so she started the Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media, a nonprofit dedicated to educating and influencing film and TV creators to eliminate gender bias and stereotypes. So yeah, so we don't see her too much on the screen, but she's behind the scenes. But if you haven't seen it, definitely check out the first season of The Exorcist when it was the TV series that she was in. She was great in that. Great.
I need to watch that. I have skipped it for the longest time.
Yeah. No, that was really good.
Good show. It only ran for 2 seasons.
I know. So, well, thank you everyone for today's watch party. What we have coming up next. So in our horror Discord, next week we have Silver Bullets, the classic werewolf 80s film starring everyone's favorite Corey Haim and Gary Busey. Again, I say before he became Gary Busey. And then after that, coming back to the Sci-Fi Discord on November 28th, we will have the return of Andrew Dalton. He will be back with us. And we will also have the return of Heath Holland, known as Serial at Midnight. And they're going to be doing Megaforce.
Nice.
So that, yes, another 80s cheese fest. So yes. So definitely look forward to those two and enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you all very much.
Yes,
We'll
thanks,
see you next
Sharon.
time.
See you next time, everybody.